lost civilizations, mysterious sunken cities, and legendary Atlantis itself.
There is a huge amount of unrecorded human history.
History is full of mysteries, and some photos of the past leave even the smartest scientists scratching their heads. These rare images capture moments so strange that they deserve to be in history books. From weird inventions to unsettling events frozen in time, these photos challenge what we think we know about the past. Are you ready to enter into the unexplained side of history? If you're just as curious as we were, then join us as we reveal 20 rare historical photos that scientists cannot explain. First morning after Sweden changed, driving to the right. On September 3, 1967, Sweden made a bold move and switched from driving on the left side of the road to the right.
On September the 3rd, Sweden becomes the last country in continental Europe to drive on the left-hand side of the road and switches over to the right.
This historic event, called Dagen H or H-Day, threw the country into chaos. Imagine driving and suddenly your lane is the wrong one. No thanks, right? Sweden tried to prepare everyone with ads, practice days, and tons of public awareness campaigns. But when the big day came, confusion ruled the roads. Minor accidents were everywhere as drivers and pedestrians tried to figure things out. In the end, the switch made things safer and travel to neighboring countries easier. It was messy, but worth it. Keep watching to find more rare photos. The story of Blanche Monier. Blanche Monier was a beautiful young woman from a wealthy family in Poitiers, France. Born in 1849, she seemed destined for a comfortable life.
In 1876, Blanche Monier was a beautiful 25-year-old from a very wealthy, prominent family in Paris.
But in 1875, she vanished without a trace. Where was she? For 25 years, Blanche was locked in a small, dark room in her family home. The person responsible? Her own mother. Rumor has it that Blanche's mother disapproved of her love for a man who wasn't wealthy. Blanche endured years of neglect and abuse, hidden away while the world outside moved on. In 1901, police rescued her after an anonymous tip. The two-headed boy of Bengal. The two-headed boy of Bengal, Lalu, was born in 1867 in a small village near Kolkata, India. He had a rare condition caused by conjoined twins who didn't fully separate during development. Lalu's body had one set of arms and legs, but two heads, each with its own expressions and emotions. Both heads could smile, blink, and react independently, which made his case unique. Despite his unusual appearance, Lalu's family cared for him lovingly and shielded him from exploitation. He lived a short life, passing away at 23, but his story is still a case of interest in medical history. First selfie in history. Selfies are everywhere today, but have you ever wondered who took the first one? Meet Robert Cornelius, an American chemist and photography enthusiast. In 1839, when photography was still new, Cornelius decided to experiment with the daguerreotype process.
Robert Cornelius' studio in the 1840s to have your portrait made, it would have been an entirely novel experience.
On a sunny day in October, he set up his camera in his family's yard in Philadelphia. He removed the lens cap, dashed into the frame, posed, and then quickly replaced the cap. The result? The world's first photographic self-portrait, or what we now call a selfie. Who knew the selfie craze started over 180 years ago? The face of war. War doesn't just leave scars on the battlefield, it leaves marks on the faces of those who survive it. Soldiers who endured the horrors of the world wars often came back unrecognizable, not just because of injuries, but from the toll of stress and trauma. Many suffered from PTSD, a condition that affects both the mind and body. The stress and anxiety could change their physical appearance, making them look older, worn, and as if they had lived through hell. One Soviet soldier's face tells this story all too well. His haunted expression is a powerful reminder of the invisible wounds war leaves behind. Coal miners in a tough spot. Photos can reveal hard truths, like this one of Belgian coal miners in the 1920s. It shows the cramped, outdated mine elevators, and the harsh realities of their lives. Packed tightly, these miners faced danger daily, working in conditions that would terrify most of us today. Another photo from the late 19th century shows a woman in Native American clothing. But not all photos tell the truth. Many are staged or misleading. These images remind us to question history and appreciate the struggles of those who lived it. Sometimes pictures say more than words ever could. What comes next on this list will shock you. The Morrison Shelter. The Morrison Shelter, designed in 1941, looked like a metal dining table but was actually a lifesaver. Named after British Home Secretary Herbert Morrison, it doubled as an air raid shelter during World War II.
This is a relic from World War II. Now this is a Morrison shelter.
Families could transform it into a sturdy cage-like structure with fold-down sides, offering protection from falling debris. Its wire mesh top was strong enough to keep them safe. Imagine having dinner on your table one moment and hiding under it the next. Photos like these remind us how much safer and simpler life is today compared to wartime hardships. McDonald's opening in Moscow. On January 31, 1990, McDonald's opened its doors in Moscow, and the aftermath was massive. 38,000 people waited for hours in line just to try the famous fast food. Inside, the staff worked hard to serve the huge crowd. Imagine standing in that long line for a burger and fries. Would you have waited? Well, many were excited to be among the first in Russia to experience McDonald's. That moment captured in the photo shows how much people were craving something new and different. World War II gas masks for babies. During World War II, the threat of chemical warfare led to a strange creation: gas masks for babies. Designed to protect infants from harmful gases, these masks were rubber with a plastic window to monitor their breathing. The tiny air pump filtered air, and a hood covered their heads completely. Although the masks were meant to protect, they were far from comforting. Babies, strapped into these tight, suffocating masks, likely felt confined, scared, and unable to communicate. The sight of such tiny faces hidden behind these protective shields is a strong reminder of the fear that gripped the world during the war. The Great Depression. The Great Depression, which lasted from 1929 to the late 1930s, devastated the American economy. After the stock market crash, millions of Americans lost their jobs, homes, and savings.
There is no unemployment insurance. So as people lose jobs and they're thrown on the streets, they have nowhere to go.
While the wealthy could buy up cheap stocks and real estate, the common people struggled to survive. This photo shows a man walking the streets in the 1930s saying, "I know 3 trades, speak 3 languages, have 3 children, and no work for 3 months." Despite his skills, finding work was nearly impossible during such hard times. The rich thrived, while the rest fought to keep their heads above water, preserving Native American music. In the early 20th century, Frances Densmore made it her mission to preserve Native American music. Born in 1867 in Minnesota, she was deeply fascinated by music and different cultures. Armed with early recording equipment, Densmore traveled across the U.S., recording thousands of songs and rituals from Native American tribes, many never documented before. Her respect and dedication to capturing these traditions were unmatched. While many great contributions often go unnoticed, Densmore's work was very involved in preserving a rich part of Native American culture that might have otherwise been lost. Daredevil construction workers. The construction of the Empire State Building in the early 1930s was an extraordinary feat of bravery. Built during the Great Depression, the workers, known as Skywalkers, risked their lives every day, balancing on narrow steel beams hundreds of feet in the air. Without modern safety gear like harnesses or nets, they worked in dangerous conditions, often standing on open steel frameworks. Despite their experience, these workers had no insurance or safety net. It's hard to imagine anyone today signing up for such a job. These daredevil builders truly embodied courage, knowing every step they took could be their last. Photo shoot with spirits. In the 1800s, William Mumler became famous for a bizarre form of photography: spirit photography. After capturing a self-portrait with what he claimed was the ghost of his deceased cousin, Mumler began taking photos of others with alleged spirits appearing beside them. Many people believed in these ghostly images, but others accused him of using double exposure techniques to fake the spirits. In 1869, Mumler faced a trial for fraud but was acquitted. Despite the legal win, his career was ruined, and many still doubt the authenticity of his ghostly photographs. The inflatable tanks and invisible soldiers. During World War II, the Allies used clever tricks to confuse the Nazis and secure victory. As they prepared for D-Day, they deployed inflatable tanks, trucks, and artillery to fake large military forces. These decoys, made of canvas and rubber, looked real from a distance. To make the illusion even more convincing, they played recordings of tanks, soldiers, and vehicles at key locations. This deception helped the Allies land in Normandy without the Germans realizing the true strategy. It's a surprising and creative tactic that played a crucial role in the success of the operation. Shadow of Hiroshima victim. On August 6, 1945, Hiroshima was hit with the first atomic bomb, Little Boy.
On 6 August 1945, American bomber Enola Gay dropped an atomic bomb on the Japanese city of Hiroshima.
The explosion caused widespread devastation, and countless lives were lost. Among the haunting reminders of that day is a shadow left on the concrete steps of a bank. The shadow was left by a victim who, in the moments before the bomb exploded, shielded part of the steps from the intense heat. The shadow is a haunting reminder of that tragic moment when history changed. We don't know who the person was, but their shadow tells a tale of what war can do to innocent victims. Hair treatment or death machine. In the 1930s, hair salons featured strange machines that looked more like torture devices than beauty tools. These strange machines were made to treat and style hair. They looked like something from the future, but also had a bit of a medieval feel. The sight of these machines today is hard to believe that they were once the latest craze. It's weird to think women willingly sat under these devices for their beauty treatments. Would you brave one of these machines just to get a great hairdo? That's some serious dedication to style. The wall that split families. The Berlin Wall wasn't just a concrete barrier, it tore families apart. Built by East Germany to stop people from escaping to the wealthier West, it separated parents from children, siblings from each other, and friends from loved ones. Communication was blocked, leaving families in painful uncertainty. Some tried to escape, risking everything, while others stayed trapped. It wasn't until 1989, when the wall fell, that families could reunite. These photos show the heart-wrenching reality of the wall and the deep pain it caused to so many. The next part of the video will shock you: the iron lung. The iron lung was a life-saving device for those whose lungs couldn't function on their own, like Paul Alexander, who contracted polio at age 6. Confined to the machine for decades, his body was sealed inside a metal chamber, with only his head visible. The iron lung used negative pressure to help him breathe. While essential, living in it was a tough and lonely experience. Patients like Paul relied on mirrors, books, and other distractions to pass the time, showing the strength and endurance required just to survive. It wasn't just medical technology, it was a fight for life. Woman arrested for bathing suit. Annette Kellerman, an Australian swimmer and actress, changed the game for women's swimwear in the early 1900s. In 1907, she designed a daring, form-fitting one-piece swimsuit, a bold departure from the bulky, modest swim dresses of the time. When Kellerman wore this swimsuit at a beach in Boston, her outfit caused a scandal. She was even arrested for indecency. But her revolutionary style helped pave the way for more practical swimwear for women. Today, her design might seem ordinary, but back then, it was nothing short of rebellious. Anti-British propaganda. During World War II, Japan created anti-British propaganda to weaken the unity of the Allies, especially between Britain and the US. By portraying Britain as a symbol of colonial oppression, Japan aimed to rally its own people's support for its expansion in Asia and the Pacific. The propaganda also tried to create distrust among the Allies, hoping to fracture their alliance. It's fascinating to think about how history was shaped by these tactics. and reminds us that not all stories are told in the history books. Well, it gets more interesting as CO2 is not restricted to Mars. One can find CO2 both in space and on Earth. The sources of CO2 on Earth include elements like volcanoes, wildfires, humans, and animals breathing. On Earth, CO2 is relevant for various things. Here, it is added to items like soda and beer and aids fire extinguishers in effectively extinguishing fires. On Earth, our plants also consume CO2, ensuring balance in the atmosphere. But recently, this balance has been disrupted through harmful human activities such as oil and coal burning and deforestation. All of these are causing the amount of CO2 in Earth's atmosphere to increase, and the consequences are not good. Because of the increase of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere of Earth,
fossil fuel-related carbon dioxide humans release into the atmosphere every year. The gas is entirely invisible, until now.
The planet is becoming warmer, causing a big disruption to our weather systems. Very importantly, CO2 is a major aid to the warmth of our planet. Though this is good, the increase of CO2 in our planet is making it warmer than it should be, resulting in a problem known as global warming. While the solution to this problem is still actively being worked upon, scientists continue to monitor the rate at which carbon dioxide increases in our atmosphere. They do this by using satellites like NASA's Orbiting Carbon Observatory 2. While scientists monitor the increase of carbon dioxide on our surface, they also study gas to find ways to transform carbon dioxide into oxygen. But why? The reason is simple. Suppose a man will make any future human exploration of the Martian planet. In that case, there is a need to find ways to generate oxygen from the existing carbon dioxide. Currently, about 95% of the planet's atmosphere is made up of carbon dioxide, which affects everything on the planet and is the major responsibility for a change in seasons. In the Martian poles, you will find dry ice that melts directly into carbon dioxide. Thanks to the existence of CO2 on the planet enjoys what is known as dry ice, and for those who do not know, dry ice doesn't melt into water, but melts directly into CO2. So, you see what we mean when we say that CO2 dominates the red planet? Well, it gets more interesting as Boriska does not only have things to say about Mars. Contrary to this, he also sheds a lot of light on some mysteries on Earth which will amaze you. Boriska's shocking claims about Earth. Coming down to Earth, away from his Martian stories, we find that Boriska had so much information to provide. According to him, he had interacted with the ancient civilizations of Earth when he visited as a pilot for Mars. Here, he noted that Earth is filled with many mysteries and hidden potentials that, when unlocked, could completely transform humanity. But that isn't all. Boriska also connects the structures on Mars to a unique structure on Earth. This structure is the Pyramid of Giza, the largest pyramid of the Great Pyramids of Egypt. Why does Boriska draw this connection? Is there something about the Pyramids of Giza that we do not know about? Over the years, there have been numerous speculations about the real intention behind the building of the Pyramid of Giza. Here, some people believe that the Pyramid of Giza is positioned intentionally in a way that it receives signals from space. This and many other conspiracy theories have long surrounded the pyramids of Egypt, and the words of Boriska only heighten our desire to inquire into the truth. What exactly is the truth behind the Pyramid of Giza?
The pyramid texts describe the ancient Egyptian gods as extraterrestrials coming and going from two places, Sirius and Orion.
This is a long-standing question that we hope will receive answers one day. But with Boriska's gaze on Egypt, there was so much more to say. Boriska turns to the Sphinx in Egypt to uncover more secrets about Earth. According to him, a trigger behind the Sphinx's ears could change everything we know about Earth once it is tapped into. If true, this secret about the Sphinx holds great implications that could affect the world forever, either positively or negatively. So what is the truth here? To answer this, we have to examine the Sphinx in its entirety. The Sphinx is located on the Giza Plateau near Cairo. It is estimated to have been constructed about 2500 BCE during the reign of Pharaoh Khafre. Considering its size, the Sphinx is a gigantic wonder, being approximately 73 meters or 240 feet long, 20 meters or 66 feet high, and 19 meters or 62 feet wide. In appearance, the Sphinx is carved to have a lion's body and a human's head. For some, its head is believed to be modeled after Pharaoh Khafre. However, it gets more interesting when we consider the mythological aspects. The Sphinx in Greek mythology is a fierce guardian of sacred places. According to the mythology, it poses riddles to strangers who are accused when they fail to answer. However, the Egyptian mythology of the Sphinx is less frightful as it is believed to be a benevolent male.
Even some of their sculptures were designed to be viewed from sideways on. And when you look at this as an ancient Egyptian, it appears as if the Sphinx is guarding Khufu's tomb.
Various questions and mysteries about the Sphinx include the mystery of its building materials. It has been recently discovered that the spins are built from two materials, one used for the head and the other for the body. While the body of the Sphinx is built out of natural limestone, it is believed that the head is built with another unique man-made material, which is the reason for the difference in color and levels of weathering between the body and the head. So the question is, why was different materials used to build the Sphinx? Is it a result of renovation carried out by the ancient people or something even more unique? The answer remains elusive. Another mysterious aspect of the Sphinx hinges on Boriska's claims about the structure. What exactly is this trigger claimed to be behind the Sphinx's ears, and what could it possibly do for humanity? The answer to this question is still largely unknown, as Boriska confessed to not knowing how it works. However, when considering whether we should take his claims seriously or not, various factors come up. From what we know, there seem to be viable reasons why we should take Boriska's words about the Sphinx seriously. It has recently been discovered that there is a mysterious hole in the head of the Sphinx. It all started with a painting of the Sphinx created in 1789 by Vivant Dinon. This painting was created before any formal excavations of the Sphinx began in 1817. Still, there were interesting details to note. The depiction of a man climbing out of the head of the Sphinx, aided by two individuals. When the painting was first created, many thought of this strange depiction as a result of the artist's imagination. But it became more than that when aerial photography appeared in the 1920s. This was when a real hole was confirmed on the Sphinx's head. Intriguingly, the hole size was big enough for a grown human. This discovery made people think back to Denon's painting and its meaning. Did Denon see what he had painted? Who exactly was the man who came out from the head of the Sphinx? What had he been doing inside the Sphinx? Could this be why the Sphinx's head seems to have been altered long ago? What is the extent of the secrets which the Sphinx holds? The Sphinx's secrets untold. The mysteries surrounding the Sphinx, its renovations, and its mysterious hole are increasing. Still, something even more strange has been noticed about the activities around the Sphinx. The Sphinx is undoubtedly a monumental structure that requires stronger tension when it comes to preservation.
Succeeded in unearthing the Sphinx from the desert sands.
They were able to expose it and to reveal for the first time in centuries.
Scientists know this and have even extensively researched ways to preserve the structure from problems like water pollution. However, it became intriguing to see that when it was time for the restoration, none of the information obtained from the extensive research was applied, according to Tour Egypt. The reason for this is unknown, although it was as though the scientists had discovered something about the Sphinx that made them change their minds. So what did they discover? Over the years, many have speculated about what may be inside the Sphinx. According to some, within the head of the spins are ancient networks of tunnels that lead to rooms within and beneath the pyramids. In line with this claim, the media in 1935 labeled these networks of tunnels as a hidden city in Egypt. But how true is this claim? Drawn by the allure to discover the truth of these claims, a Japanese research group from Waseda University in Tokyo soon embarked on a journey to Egypt. They aimed to use highly advanced technology, such as electromagnetic radar, to thoroughly scan the area for anything hidden. However, the results were quite shocking because the findings from this project were never released to the public. The reason behind this was another mystery to unravel. Yet, it has brought up the question of an unspoken silence when it comes to researchers dealing with this structure. Here, it is as though every step towards solving the puzzles that the Sphinx poses ends up in more mystery. What exactly is the reason for this? An advanced 3D imaging technology has recently been applied to the mysterious Sphinx of Egypt. A team of Japanese researchers carried this out, led by Saku Yoshimura. On carrying out this advanced imaging on the Sphinx, what they found shocked everyone. Right within the Sphinx, they noticed an unusual network of spaces and voids too intelligent to be accidental. Examining these spaces, they soon discovered that they were a network of tunnels that spread out and connected various rooms within the Sphinx's body. On the south of the Sphinx, one particular tunnel stood out, about 8 feet wide and 10 feet tall.
And today, major important secrets have been revealed by technology for the first time, the discovery of a 9 meters tunnel.
The tunnel was linked to 2 rooms, which were, in turn, connected to a series of other tunnels. Another intrigue was also noticed at the bottom of the Sphinx. Isolated shafts were spotted scattered across the bottom, adding to the mystery. This discovery was not only well documented with clear images, but also made a groundbreaking discovery in regards to the mysterious Sphinx. But this is where the twist gets unfolded. Interestingly, when the new finding about the Sphinx was released, it was welcomed by a very low enthusiasm. Only a few initial surveys were carried out following this release. After this, nothing on the subject was ever spoken of again. Besides, numerous scientists continue to deny the genuineness of this discovery, regardless of the available evidence, which makes things even more complicated. It was as though no one wanted anything new or shocking to be discovered about the Sphinx. This shocking turn of events highlighted what seems to be a problem in the scientific and research world, which seems resistant to new findings. The reasons for this can be speculated upon, as it can be either due to academic, political, or other practical reasons. Sometimes it might be too costly to dismantle old beliefs and begin to rethink things in a new way. This may also be more costly regarding the launch of new research in the area. This is a problem that scientists and researchers do not face alone. Rather, it is a phenomenon well known to the human race, which is more inclined to resist discoveries that may disrupt the old. From this, there are numerous lessons to learn. One of them is that what matters isn't just about finding discoveries, but also about ensuring the acceptance of these new finds. This is a situation that has halted numerous progressive discoveries in the past. It didn't start now. But the results of this is another yet unraveled mystery. The mystery of the Sphinx and the hole in its head remains unsolved to date. While it is possible to speculate about how the hole got sealed, there's not much else that is known. Besides the Sphinx in Egypt, there are numerous other unraveled mysteries that seek answers. One of those mysteries is the mystery of Queen Nefertiti. This queen is one of the most famous and powerful queens of ancient Egypt, but remains shrouded in mystery to date. Said to be born in about 1370 BCE, her exact origins are unclear, with some speculating that she was a foreign princess or an Egyptian noblewoman. However, the most accepted theory is that she was from a powerful family in Thebes, with some believing that her father was Ai, who later became a pharaoh. Queen Nefertiti was married to Pharaoh Akhenaten, also known as Amenhotep IV. The period of her reign was a period characterized by immense religious revolution, as well as a change in social activity and a reawakening of arts. During her reign, worship was focused on the sun disk instead of the Egyptian gods. Numerous artifacts depict Queen Nefertiti as equal to the pharaoh, which is quite a powerful position. Despite the power that Queen Nefertiti had wielded, her end is shrouded in mystery, as she seems to be carefully erased from historical records. For some, she had briefly reigned after Akhenaten's death. For others, she may have also died. Ultimately, this mystery remains one of the numerous secrets that seem to be buried under the passage of time in Egypt. As for Buriska, he is now a grown man today who maintains a rather low profile. And although he has not brought about any high-tech revelation, such as how a rocket thrusts in a vacuum in his claims, the impact of his words continues to echo over time, probing us to look beyond what is usually seen. What do you think about Buriska's claims? Are they real or fabricated? Let us know your thoughts in the comments section below. And if you enjoyed the video, make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channels. Also, click the next video shown on your screen. You will enjoy it.